So we just finished that time of the season, spooky season, that's right, Halloween. Every Halloween I play a bunch of horror games, and they are selected randomly for me to play. I am RNG Gamer, after all. This is Beating the Backlog, the video where I tell you about the games that were picked for me randomly to play, and I review them. We have 3 games, they're all quite terrifying, and I'm pretty sure some of these you've never heard of. So let's just dive right in. But first, we have to set the atmosphere. First up, we have a game that I only bought because I read online where 2 separate people said that it was the scariest game they've ever played, and they weren't joking. Let's spin the wheel and see what it is.
What's it gonna be? There's some neat stuff on here. Fate, the Unholy Trinity.
And it's Fate, the Unholy Trinity. Now you may be looking at this right now and saying to yourself, what in the freaking crap is what is he talking about? This isn't, what is this? This isn't scary. This isn't a scary game. Well, this is a modern game done in the style of an early 80s 8-bit computer game. And it's themed around the satanic panic of the 1980s. See, back then, everybody thought all this creepy stuff in pop culture was going to be the downfall of humanity. Dungeons and Dragons, heavy metal, video games, comic books, all those things were gonna lead you straight into the fire and brimstone of hell, and if you don't repent, by God, brother, you're doomed. Everybody thought that. I grew up during that time period. It was still going in the 90s. I'll never forget the church I went to came to my house one day, took all the books I was reading, Goosebumps, Scary Stories to Read in the Dark, whatever it's called, they took them and they burned them. I lived through this. So this game hit pretty hard for me. Now in this game you play as Father John, who's a priest who's called in to help with the exorcism of a young girl. And of course, things go horribly wrong. And in a moment of cowardice, he runs away. Now he has to go back and make things right. Now this game is told in 3 separate chapters that each expand and expound upon the story told in the first chapter. The first chapter involves you returning to the house where the exorcism happened. The second chapter involves you going to a city to investigate a cult that's popping up. And the third game involves you actually having to deal with what you've discovered. Not only does the scope of the story expand, but the areas expand themselves. Each game gets progressively larger and more crazy, and you'll never freaking expect all the hallucinations, cult crap, twists, turns, and a lot of other just grotesque and disgusting imagery that happens in these games. It is absolutely disturbing, especially for something that's done in this style of game, right? This looks like Atari 2600 kind of graphics, right? It's extremely well told, it's entertaining, it's thought-provoking, and it does not overstay its welcome. Now the graphics, we gotta talk about the graphics, okay? What you see is what you get, all right? This game is an 8-bit style game. 8-bit computer style game, which is really like a 4-bit game or a 2-bit game compared to like Nintendo, which is also 8-bit. This is a little bit below that. I actually love the way this game looks. And I haven't seen any modern games really use this style, especially not in an adventure style game. There's some incredible rotoscoped cutscenes and jump scares and great digitized dialogue that I just love, and it adds so much character to the game. I also really like the soundtrack. It's full of spooky music, but also classics like Moonlight Sonata and hymns like Abide With Me, which serves as the game's title track. Now, as for the gameplay, this is an adventure game, okay? You explore around and you solve puzzles by collecting items or triggering switches. And all of the puzzles in this game are pretty easy, but not so easy that they're boring. It is a primitive experience, and the designers wanted you to have that primitive experience feel, and they nailed it. You'll fight enemies, you'll uncover secrets by pressing the only action button in the game, which is just to raise your crucifix. It's pretty much just a 1-button game. Now, I believe when this was originally released on the PC, all 3 chapters were released separately, like one every few months or something like that. The game is definitely designed around picking a chapter and playing through it multiple times to uncover all the clues and lore and secret items and the multiple different endings. Each chapter has a different ending. Now, I'm pretty sure that when this first came out, I was seeing like streamers play it and they were going through and like uncovering everything. There's a lot of lore kind of like outside this game. The way people like go crazy about the lore in Dark Souls or something like that, where they break apart every little minutia and piece of symbolism you see in the game. Now, when I played the first chapter, I found all the secrets, I found all the endings. The second chapter, I did about half of it, and then the third chapter, I just got my one ending. Now, I did go online later and read all the lore about this and watch the other endings and stuff, and it's fantastic, and I can totally see how someone could play through this game multiple times and really sink their teeth into it. And I probably would have done that if it wasn't horror month and I needed to get through these games to review. But it is a worthwhile experience. As a matter of fact, you can play through the whole game in like 3 to 5 hours. That's all the chapters, okay? With the first chapter by far being the shortest. It feels just right. This game hit all the spooky notes. The gameplay was engaging and fun. It looked really cool. It was a unique idea. For what it is, man, it is like a complete package. It's disturbing, it's interesting, it'll have you questioning your sanity. You won't know if you're really making progress or like screwing up in the game, and that's kind of how the priest feels during the game, right? He doesn't know if he's doing the right thing or if what he's seeing is real or if maybe he was wrong about his faith the whole time. I know half of you looking at this will think, God, this game looks awful. Why would I ever play this? Another half of you right now are saying, I gotta play this game. Like, if you're one of the people that fit into that second category, you need to dive into this. If the graphics are more of a thing that attracts you than puts you off, this is the perfect game for that. Now, I'm not in the same camp as those people online that said it was like the scariest game they've ever played. It can be very tense, it can be very disturbing and interesting, but it is much scarier than it looks, okay? This game, it will spook you, it will give you that Halloween feeling. I think it's a perfect game for spooky season. As a matter of fact, Faith the Unholy Trinity is one of the best games I've played all year, and it's well deserving of an 8 out of 10. Now, I have a real problem in my life, and that problem is I can't get enough screens jammed into where I'm at, right? Right now, I'm literally looking at like 9 screens. There's like the computers, there's the camera screen, there's the TV screen, there's all my streaming screens, but they're never enough. If you've ever been to my live streams, I always complain about how I miss messages in the chat because the freaking chat box is too small and I'm looking at all this crap. I need a separate screen for that. When I edit my videos sometimes on my laptop during my lunch break, I don't have enough real estate to see what I'm doing. And when I go to play games upstairs, because I gotta watch the flipping kids, I get tired sometimes of playing on a little tiny handheld screen. Which is why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, UPerfect. UPerfect is a manufacturer of portable monitors. They make monitors of all types. They make gaming monitors, they make workstation monitors, anything you need. Which is why I want to tell you about the one I've been using, the C2 gaming monitor. This comes in 2 different versions, the C2 and the C2 Pro. The C2 is a 120 Hz 1600p gaming monitor. It's fantastic, it has a great refresh rate, it looks wonderful, it has a wide spectrum of colors and a lot of nits, it blasts you in the face. But the one I've been using is the C2 Pro, which is a 2K 144 Hz monitor. I don't know anyone that ever uses a gaming monitor where they don't just focus on the resolution and the refresh rate. Those are the 2 most important things you have, and these are the 2 best I've found in a portable gaming monitor. Compared with a 1080p monitor, which is what you're gonna find in most portable gaming monitors, this blows it out of the park. It has twice the pixels, it has 144 Hz refresh rate, like I said, so you have a smooth picture and crisp, clean gameplay. And if 144 Hz isn't good enough for you, you can also get it in 244 Hz, which is like, that's better than the gaming monitor I'm freaking using on my gaming computer. Now, I haven't just been using this to play games upstairs. I have also been using it to edit videos. Sometimes gaming monitors are not great for that. Sometimes it washes out the colors so that you're not blasted in the face with a bunch of blue light while you're playing a game and you get eye fatigue. This monitor has a really even balance to its colors, and it's great when you're editing videos and you're color grading them and you're trying to make sure they look just right. Heck, I've even been taking it with me to work and using it as a 3rd monitor at my desk. And I know a lot of you out there are gonna want something just like this. You need something like this in your life. And if you do, go to the description down below, find the link and buy it because it's on sale right now. And if the price you see isn't good enough for you, well, let's make it a little bit better. Use code RNG Gamer 40 to get $40 off your order of $200 or more, or RNG Gamer 50 to get $50 off your order of $300 or more. There is a link in the description down below. Thank you so much, UPerfect, for sponsoring this video. I'm loving the monitor, and let's talk about some more games. Sometimes when you're playing a lot of horror games during horror month, it can weigh on you a little bit, and maybe you just want some sort of mindless, slightly spooky fun. Let's spin the wheel and see what we get.
Let's see what we get. Riddled Corpses EX. That's an interesting one. I kind of forgot that was a game.
It's Riddled Corpses EX on the Vita. Now, this is a very basic retro-inspired twin-stick shooter. The story is that there's a zombie monster outbreak, and you just basically have to fight your way through 6 stages to stop that using the various characters in the game. The story is not the focus of this. The focus of this is the gameplay, and they make that abundantly clear right from the onset. Now, the graphics in this, they are retro, but I think they're extremely cool, and I really enjoy them. However, when it comes to the music, I'm gonna say this, it's pretty terrible, okay? It's mostly unenjoyable or pretty forgettable, leaving the whole presentation kind of mixed. I like the way it looks, but I mainly played with the sound like pretty low or off, okay? And I put some time into this game, so there's a lot of time like listening to a TV in the background. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's terrible, it's just like it's one of the weaker features of the game. Now, you start with one very underpowered character, and you kill zombies as best you can, and you collect money. And then you use that money after you die to upgrade yourself. This is kind of like a pseudo, not really roguelite, but a type of game that you die, you lose all your progress in the game, but you can perpetually upgrade yourself between different runs. You just rinse and repeat that. You kill zombies, gather money, buy upgrades, and you repeat that process to try to like overpower yourself to the point where you're able to actually take down a level. This is a grinding game. You grind with this. That's really all it is. And it feels very much like a phone game without being a phone game. And I'm okay with that in this situation. Grinding is actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. There are constant unlocks. It feels awesome getting super overpowered. And when you first start off with a pea shooter, it feels like it takes a minute to kill one zombie. And then later on, you'll be mowing down thousands of zombies without hardly any effort. And I say without any effort, but I mean, the game is a challenge. The later levels, even fully powered up, will give you a bit of a run for your money. And don't look at this footage and be like, I'll just get, RNG Gamer doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll just get really good at this game, and I'll beat it when I'm like level 1. No, you're not, okay? This game is designed to grind. It wants you to. There's no way you're ever gonna be able to do it without grinding and just maxing out your character. It wants you to be max level. It wants every upgrade to be maxed out, okay? You need to purchase extra lives and resources between the stages. It'll be impossible, okay, without grinding. All right, that's what I'm gonna say. Now, there's several different characters in this game, and it's sort of bizarre how they work. One character is really focused on like dishing out firepower, and then the other character is really focused on having like a bunch of HP like you would expect. And then there's another character that's obviously the character that's designed to grind XP. That's your grinding character, right? But after you max all of them out, you unlock a character that's just all 3 of those characters combined. So that's like the only character you end up playing for the majority of the game. Just this one mega super overpowered character. There is another character to unlock after that, but that character feels so weak in comparison to that one super character. I kind of wish they had not done that, or they had tweaked it down, because it's not like it's 30% of one character, 30% of another character, or 30% of another character. It's just like everything each character can do just jammed into one character. So I thought that was a little bit of a misstep, but I will say I did use that character like the entire time. Now, there are 2 other modes to this. There's survival and arcade. Arcade, you play through the game and level up along the way. It's a lot of fun. It's where most of the challenge is gonna be with this game. And I was able to make it pretty far, but I never took down arcade mode. That's the skill challenge of this game. Survivor mode, on the other hand, has you taking down like waves of zombies in like a little combat arena. But it lets you use the characters that you upgraded in story mode. So by the time I got to survival mode, I was like maxed out. And I think there was a trophy for getting to like wave 10 or something in this. And on my first try, I got to wave like 27. Like, I just absolutely annihilated it. I kind of wish I had played it more before leveling up. And there's no way to really play it again without starting over. And I didn't want to do that by that point. This game sat in my backlog so long that I forgot kind of what game it was. I thought it was some sort of, in my mind, like a rhythm game or something. I don't know what it was, and I forgot it was a twin stick shooter, but I'm so glad it was. It was the perfect little break from playing all the horror games I've been working on this October. Like I said, with all the grinding, it feels a lot like a mobile game, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I had a great time with it. I love grinding. I would have been okay with it being twice as long, with there being more upgrades and more things to do. I would have kept playing it, which really says a lot about the addictive quality of this and other, I guess, mobile games. I was addicted to it and I've knocked it out in like a few days. It took me about 7 hours to knock out almost everything in the game other than the arcade mode. I got all the trophies other than the arcade mode one. It's simple, it's mindless, it's fun, it's spooky. It really is a good game. Like I said, I think my main complaint was that I wish it had more content. I would have spent 15 or 20 hours with this game. For that reason, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think most people should play it if they like spooky kind of retro style twin stick shooters with a lot of grinding. Now it's time to talk about a Black Star game. What is a Black Star game? Well, a Black Star is earned by people tipping on my live streams. Yes, I live stream here on YouTube on Fridays, every other Friday. And when they tip enough money, they get to pick the game they want me to play, and I am forced to play it on the live streams. And they picked Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx 16. And yes, I did play this on real original hardware, on a real Hue card. Now, everyone probably already knows what this game is, but it's my first time actually ever really playing it. I've played the sequels, but not the TG16 version of it. It is a classic arcade game originally ported only to the TurboGrafx 16. It has appeared on a few other little compilations recently, but back in the day, this was the only way to play it. I could have used an emulator to play this and it probably would have looked better on my live stream, but everybody wanted the original hardware. Authenticity is important. Now, I will say, I just did a video recently where I found the hardest game on every console. And when I came to the TurboGrafx 16, Splatterhouse was in the running for the top. I think it came in like 4th place or something. Now, I live streamed this and I beat it on my second try. It's considered to be extremely hard, but it's just not as bad as everyone says. It's just all pattern recognition. It's a little clunky, it's a little weird, but like, I didn't really have any problem with it. And I would have said personally that it's a pretty easy game for a game from that era. Now, the story of this is straight out of like a 1980s slasher movie. You play as some dude and your girlfriend's been kidnapped and taken to a mansion full of ghouls and ghosts and everything. And I think you sell your soul to this Jason Voorhees-like mask to get super strong and save her. Pretty cool story. I like the idea of that. Guy sacrificing himself for the girl he loves. How noble of him. Now, you have to platform, punch, and smash your way through the game's 7 stages, and these are full of gross and spooky enemies inspired from horror movie culture. The gameplay reminds me a lot of Kung Fu from the NES. There's a lot of having to like quickly turn left or right and change directions to take out the enemies as they come running at you. And this game does require some old school gaming skills, which luckily I apparently still have. Most of the boss fights in this involve learning where to stand so you avoid damage. You can actually land a hit. If you just like jump into a boss fight and try to like run around and actually take the boss on, it's not gonna work. You're just gonna get hit and just destroyed in no time. It's about like positioning, standing in one spot and slowly moving back and forth and letting the boss, as they're bouncing around, like land next to you so you can punch them rather than walk up to them and hit them. And like I said, before you figure all that out, the bosses are basically impossible. That's probably why this game seemed so hard to so many people and it made that list of the hardest games that I did. There are a lot of retro games that do that, and I just could tell with this one that that's what it was gonna be. Like I could just tell right away, it's like, oh, you just gotta stand still and know where the enemy's gonna be. Now, they give you 2 lives and 5 continues to beat the game, which is plenty. On my second try, I got through almost the entire game without having to use a continue at all. Now, there isn't a lot of replay value in this game, but that's not where the value of the game is. This is one of those games that you like know inside and out, and just once a year you pop it out and you just revisit it and enjoy it for a little bit, just to relive those experiences. I love those kind of games you go back to, like Super Mario Brothers. There's nothing new there for you, it's just about doing it again. And that's what Splatterhouse is like. Now, I do feel like you could beat this game without getting hit a single time, and it probably wouldn't even take you that long. Which kind of stings a little bit because I think I paid $100 when I bought this game years ago at a convention. Still, I'm glad I have it, and I enjoyed playing it. And for a Black Star game that you guys forced me to play, this one was pretty forgiving. It was no Ninja Gaiden Sigma. It was no Star Fox Assault. I enjoyed this. I'm glad it was a Black Star game. While this game is not going to be something that's going to occupy your time for months, I think it's a great game. I think everyone should try it, and if you're a TurboGrafx 16 collector, you got to have it. Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx 16 is a 7 out of 10. It's really good. Thanks for hanging out, guys. If you made it that far, do that for me. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, give me a like, hype the video. The names you see on the screen right now, those are my channel members and my Patreon supporters. You can join up by going to one of the links in the description down below. Get access to the videos early, get access to member exclusive videos, maybe pick a game for me to play. And you can do all of that for as little as 99 cents a month. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. I'll catch you in the next one.